You're on the podcast with
Dino and Ashley.
I feel like we need to stop doing that at this point.
You don't say that one.
I'm going to warn ahead of time that this may be a slightly different type of podcast.
Well, we just woke up this morning. It's early right now. We had our first night back in our house since we were evacuated for Hurricane Helene. We left last Wednesday. I think that was like 10 days ago or 11 days ago now or something.
So we got hit by a hurricane. Yeah, that's news in case.
Well, first of all, let me tell you how thankful I am for sleeping in our own bed last night.
Right.
That was amazing.
My gosh.
And to put a cherry right on top of it all, my parents, they have a rental house just not too far from us, and their house got flooded, unfortunately, their rental, not their home. So they were there cleaning it up yesterday. We come home, we're working, cleaning stuff up with the kids here because we hadn't really given the house much attention yet. The outside got damaged. And my mom calls me up and she's like, why don't we take all the children to our house tonight?
Oh my God. I'm like, what?
Really?
For reals?
Really? I could just get in bed at 3 o'clock?
At like 2:30, you're going to take my children at like 2:30 in the afternoon. After it was, all right, so yeah, it's been a whirlwind. Let's just recap on this. Last week before, when did the hurricane hit?
We got evacuated last Wednesday, and then the hurricane hit Thursday.
We say last Wednesday, that was 10 days ago, 11 days ago Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was like 11 days ago, we got evacuated. That was on a Thursday.
Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
And then it hit on a Thursday.
It hit on a Thursday. Friday morning, we woke up and got to work.
Yeah. The first thing that we had access to was our Fox Mercantile, our business in Cortez Village in Florida. And we could access that because it's right off of the bridge to Anna Maria Island. So Anna Maria Island was closed, and we could not access that at first. So we went to the Mercantile, saw the damages there, and we've had, this is the crazy thing. So we've owned the Mercantile for almost 2 years. We've been open for a little over a year. This sort of storm has never happened ever to Anna Maria Island or this area.
They said in over 100 years. So just to jump ahead, I talked to one woman while we were at the Mercantile, and she said her great-grandmother built her house in Cortez down the street. And she said, yeah. And she said her grandmother's place has never flooded in over 100 and something years. The lady was like 65 or 70 years old. So this was like a very long generational gap of people.
Yeah. So this isn't like a normal thing. But since we've owned the Mercantile and been open, this is actually our third flood. We prepped for this. And so that's, I think, why we're also extra tired, because we spent probably 3 days prepping the store. We even closed a day early to prep, so we could just be prepared, because we're like, all right, we're not going to fall for this again, or everything's going up. Everything's going on cinder blocks. Everything's protected. Everything's in plastic bins. This hurricane in particular was...
And we went higher. We went a higher level. We were like, okay, let's get extra prepared. And the last 2 times we flooded, the one time ago, it was flooded out only a few inches. And that was like, oh man, we got spared. And then the one before that, it got flooded out maybe a foot.
It was like 2 foot.
2 feet. 2 feet of water. And that was maybe 6 weeks after we had opened. So this time we're like, listen, if we're going to get 2 feet, let's just go even more. So we pulled all the fridges and freezers out and put them on cinder blocks, vertical cinder blocks instead of horizontal. So it was like giving us an extra, 6 or 7 inches or whatever it is. And still...
I mean, walking into the destruction and obviously seeing the town all around us, everybody's furniture was out all over. Like everybody's insides of their homes was outside. We have like 1,000-pound tables outside, 2 of them under our pergola, and those were moved. I mean, it was just absolute destruction without bringing the building down. Every table inside of the building was on its side. The fridges were all on its side. It just came in like a rushing, water, and it just knocked everything over. It was too high and it was too powerful. It knocked everything over. So unfortunately, we lost a lot of stuff. We lost a lot of inventory. We lost a lot of appliances, a lot of money gone. But
there's so much good.
I know.
There's so much good. And it's funny, like God has continuously given Ash and I a heads up before bad things have happened.
Yeah,
right?
This has been my big thing that I've been focusing on.
Yeah, so like God has, right before any time something has happened in our lives, we get James chapter 1 verse 1 brought to us. One of us coincidentally is reading it.
Do you know how many times that verse has come up this year?
Oh my gosh, how does it constantly
it'll come up? And we just like squeeze each other's hands in church. We're like,
we know it, and it's almost 100%. Like it could be something smaller-ish, like, hey, you and I are just going to deal with some stuff, and that's not consequential, or it could be something like our entire world's getting flipped upside down like this.
Yeah, but you should tell them the story of what you heard the day before.
Yeah, so it's funny because I was talking with Ashley. I'm like, man, it's funny. We didn't get a James chapter 1 on this one, and the day before the hurricane, well, it was like the day of ish. Yeah, I guess it was the day before the hurricane. We had been evacuated and we were at the Airbnb, and we were just sitting there. We had some friends stay with us at the Airbnb because they also got evacuated, and we were like, please just come stay with us. And their family was all with us. There was like 11 of us. We got there and we were just hanging around the living room, and I'm like, Eric, who's one of my best friends here, you should watch this video. It really kind of is setting the tone in my head lately for the things that the kind of mentality I want to have right now. Is a really good video. And it was, you can go look it up. It's Jocko, Jocko, good. Just, you can Google just Jocko good. All right. Sorry. There's this guy, Jocko. He was I don't know, SEAL Team 6 guy, Green Beret. I don't know. In any case, one of his guys comes to him and he's like, hey, there's all this bad stuff's happening in my life. And Jocko looks at him and he's just like, good. And then, comes back and he's like, oh, this stuff's happening. Good. That's all he would say to him. And he's like, oh, I want to tell you stuff, but comes back to him another time. And he's like, I want to tell you some stuff that's going on, but I know what you're going to say. You're just going to say good. He goes, why? He's like, it starts going off in his head and thinking about it. And he's like, it doesn't matter what awful things are going on. You still draw breath in your lungs. You still have fight in you. You still have something in front of you. And through all the awful things that are going on, all the hard things, there's always going to be good. It's a good opportunity for you to grow. It's a good opportunity for you to see something else that's going on through that to help somebody. I was talking with Eric about it and showing Ash the video and stuff like that. It really solidified this mentality of when we're going through this, look for the good. Look for all the good stuff in it. That's all I really saw. I wasn't sad through any of this. I wasn't upset. I wasn't like, there was no mourning aspect of it. To me, I was just constantly looking for all the good in everything that we were going through.
Yeah. And there was so much. I can't say that I was exactly the same way as you. I definitely had more emotion than you, but I also started my period at the same time.
We're just throwing that stuff out now, I guess.
It does affect things for sure, I know I had the same mentality that there was so much goodness and God was showing me that. I wasn't upset either, or the feelings that I had was overwhelmed at points because there was so much, because we haven't even gotten to the inn yet in our house. And we have 3 properties here. And so to think about 3 things, it was overwhelming at times. But what helped was just to put our head down, to focus on what was right in front of us and work on that and focus on that specific task, and just to work unto the Lord. Around us, God showed us so much favor by just showing us all of his goodness in this tragedy. We had people show up at our door. So the hurricane hit Thursday. Friday morning, we're there with Eric and Susan. Employees come out, not expecting to get paid, but they come out to help. Our family comes out to help. We had people from the community. I don't know how they even knew. We had no cell service, and they just showed up. The Stockton brothers who've played music at some of our events before, or all of our events, they showed up and just started getting to work. Jackie and Jason, who we met on Instagram, and they've become clients of the Mercantile.
The blessing that those two had on our lives was, if we're just talking about the good in all this and the good that came out of it, man, if I'm ever going to get choked up, it's rare for me to get emotional. Man, what the two of them did for us was just I don't even know.
It's hard to explain it because if you're not there, you can't grasp it all, but they showed up with their trailer. They own a landscaping company, and they showed up day 1 in the morning with their trailer and cleaned up the entire Mercantile for 2 days straight. And yeah, the outside. I know it sounds like, who cares about the outside, but there was so much. We could have never done what they did. And not only did they clean it up, they actually like made it look better. They pruned everything, and they had a happy, like joyful just face, and just they were so filled with joy to do it.
They showed up and they're like, we're just here to love.
Yeah.
Almost out of a heart of obedience to God. Like they just showed up where God told them, like, hey, just love these people for a minute.
Yeah.
And to see God's love through people like that, man, it was so impactful.
And then just, I could run through all the things. I mean, all the things that I just felt like God really, really had a hand in.
I want to do that. I feel like it's important for you and I to go through all the amazing.
Our coffee manager for the Mercantile, sorry, not our coffee manager. She is our manager of the store. Sarah, she is incredible, and she has a vested interest in the Mercantile, like it's hers. And that is very, very rare to find. And she, before the storm, took it upon herself to prep the store so much. And then also, we store a lot of stuff at the inn, and the inn is not her responsibility. And she took it upon herself to go over to the inn, bring anything that was inside the inn upstairs, and save that, like our bikes there and our nice bedding for our beds, all of our Christmas stuff that was for the Mercantile.
She just had the wherewithal to go to the inn, get it all out of what was generally seen as a safe spot, the garage. She took all of the Christmas stuff, all of our inventory, and moved it from the garage up into the sunroom so that it was safe. And oh my gosh,
I mean,
if we would have lost that
thousands and thousands, like probably 100,000 worth of stuff.
It was like this whole next season of product purchased. It would have, already we're clearly, we're not going to go unscathed from all of this, but there's certain things that if it would have happened, I'm curious if it would have just kind of broken our back and made it so that it's like we literally can't move on anymore through all of this.
Yeah, but that saved us. It gave us something to sell afterwards. And I mean, what a blessing that I was not even thinking that way. And the fact that she did that was incredible. Then thinking about my time off this summer and how God really prepared me for this, and he knows that I need seasons of rest. And I've learned that over the years, whenever there's like a dull time, because I'm a go person and I'm ready to do the next thing, and it's hard for me to stop. And I've found when there are these moments for Dino and I to rest and to pause and have peace, that usually, and it's proven every time, he's preparing us for a season of battle and war.
It's every time.
And so I felt that going into it even, and I obviously didn't know why. And now I'm just so thankful thinking back about just a time to grow closer to him, to lean into him, be obedient to him, so that now during this time, my path is straight and I can know what we're doing and who we're fighting for and whose team we're on. And I'm so thankful for it.
Yeah.
Another way he protected us is I've been wanting to do our kitchen remodel, and for some reason it's been taking so long to get these permits to do our kitchen remodel. And thank God that we are not in the midst of a blown out house here and a full-on renovation, either for two reasons. To live in chaos here and not have a home base right now would have been really, really difficult. And then secondly, we need all that money right now. All that money that was going towards our kitchen is going to go towards fixing everything else. And I'm so thankful that he protected us from that. And to me, in my mind, I'm like, let's go. Like, why aren't we doing the kitchen, And now I'm like, oh, gosh, why do I ever try to push my own timeline and agenda? Lord, he knows everything. He is sovereign. And I keep saying that. And that's been the one thing that has stuck out for all of summer, was when I was studying the attributes of who he is. He is sovereign. And I say it all the time. And yet I'm like, why isn't the kitchen getting done? And why,
Yeah.
And it's like, man.
So here's another one right on that same one in terms of God's sovereignty and saving us. We were going to try and buy a house last year. What would that life have looked like?
That house is completely underwater.
It had 2 feet, 3 feet of water in it.
Oh, more than that.
We would have lost every single thing. We would have had nothing. At the very least right now, we have a place we can go home to and a bed to sleep in that's dry. And I am so thankful for that. Last November, we put our house on the market. We found a place that cost about half as much as this house. So we were going to try and sell this house, move into that one, try and basically live predominantly debt-free and take all of our capital that we have in the house and use it to pay off the mercantile's debt, more debt, and just live more simply. But that new place that we tried to get, that we strived so hard for, there was 3 months of us trying to sell the house here, trying to buy that place. I tried to sell stock to try and make it happen. We did everything we possibly could to make this work, and it just didn't work out. And we were so upset. I was so bummed out about it.
Just not understanding why
Yeah.
things weren't happening.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that like I didn't make mistakes in aspects of it. I'll absolutely take ownership of that. But no matter what happened, at the end of the day, we didn't get it. And I was frustrated really with myself and like with God and not understanding. And at the very least, God just is like, hey, you would have also been screwed over there too. So let me just take a beat, and I got the things I got for you.
Yeah.
You know, you learned a lesson through aspects of that. You grew through it. And right now you're in a freaking safe, dry place.
I know. I'm so thankful for that. I mean, I feel like the videos, again, don't do it justice in the photos. When you drive around the island right now, and like in Cortez, it is everybody's belongings are outside. Everybody's like, and so
it's like 6-foot piles, 10-foot piles of stuff just out.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's insane. So we kind of fast forwarded a little bit, but finally they opened up one bridge of the island and we were able to get onto Anna Maria Island, and we went to check out our inn over there. It's a 4-unit inn. We have 2 units on the bottom. We go over there and check it out, and the inn has never flooded. So that has been one of our like amazing safe things, is that it's never flooded even when the Merc has before. It has a higher elevation. General flood areas usually by the canals and the bay, that seems to like creep in and flood. It's not necessarily from the Gulf side, and we're a little bit back from the Gulf. Also, our beach is really, really long, so for the water to get to us is crazy, and the fact that it got so high
it's
is
probably
crazy.
About a quarter mile of beach and street and things like it's a yeah.
So we go to the inn, and obviously it got affected like everybody else. So the inside is just got flooded. The garage got flooded even more, which is crazy. It was probably like almost 3.5, 4 feet in the garage, and then 2 feet inside the inn. And this time though, it was different than the mercantile that has had all the sand and all the street crap and sludge. It was literally sludge and slime.
I'm pretty sure it was sewage. I mean, it was not good.
It's not good. So that was all over the everything, all over everything. And so we just got to work cleaning that up.
So this is the amazing part on this. I'm going to just keep finding all the amazing good through all of this. The day before, we're working at the mercantile, and we're like, okay, we're worried about the inn. We don't know. But right now, I can't focus on that. I just have to focus on the mercantile and what we all have to get done and clean here. And while we're working on that, this guy who
also comes into the mercantile for coffee.
Like 3 times a day.
Yeah.
He's like there all the time. He just walks in. He's like, how can I help you guys? Do you need help? Do you need help at the inn? And I'm like, yeah, we're going to need help at the inn. He's like, I'll be there tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock.
He does construction.
Like, what? Like, you'll be there at 8 a.m.? Like, he's like, yeah, I can go over there in the morning with you guys. So God just provided.
He just walked into the mercantile when he knows it's not open and it's chaos. And he came there to go to work and help us. And we were already using Gavin, our nephew, for the stuff at the Merc. So it's not like we needed him to work at the Merc. It was hard to just like find somebody. Everybody had the same problem. So imagine trying to find a construction worker or a handyman,
dehumidifiers or remediation companies.
Everybody in the area is in the same exact boat doing the same thing right now. So it was funny when we went back home to the rental that night and was talking with Susan. She was like, God specifically assigned people to you. Not that you work for Ashley and Dino. It's like they work for the Lord, and he put it on their hearts to come and help us. And it really felt like that. Like we were just surrounded by these people that were being obedient to God, telling them, got to the prompting of coming to help us. And it was incredible. And so when we sit down at night at the end of the day, and we're like, what are we doing? How can we stay here? How can we
do all this by ourselves?
Yeah.
Right?
How can we keep going? Like, should we keep going? What should we do? And then we start running through all these things and we're like, man, God really wants us to rebuild this thing.
Yeah.
He really wants us to stay here. Like, I don't understand it. Financially, I don't understand it. My little pea-sized brain and my flesh doesn't understand it.
Yeah.
But he really wants us to stay here. And then on top of that, with the inventory we had left, we put it online and we sold out of almost everything that we had left. What a blessing that everybody came out and shopped with us online, because we wouldn't have had the finances to even pay for these people to do the work that they're doing.
Yeah, we were toast, which we'll get to in part 4 of our financial series.
We're going to need to go into like a 10-part series.
We're happy to go through like what our current financial status is at the Mercantile and how we've shifted our mindset from one, to more of a ministry type mentality, especially with the Merc. But we were in a position that was very vulnerable and very exposed. Now a hurricane gets hit right after you're leveraged and reaching financially, and then to have everything sell out, so that we just had enough to be able to take another step forward.
And to give some of our girls, I mean, we're giving all of them, we're rotating through them right now, hours for all of our employees are out of work right now. And to be able to give them jobs is incredible, and so incredibly thankful, because I love all of our people and I don't want to lose them either.
And they need to feed their families and their mouths. We have 19 people that work for us there, and then we have people that work for us at the end. Like, all of the things that we do with our businesses, they all are used to support families and things like that and stuff like this. Yes, it affects us, but it affects all of the people that work for us and stuff like that too. And we're all freaking out about that. How do we make sure everybody's mouths get fed? And then for something like this to happen where there's hours for people to work.
God's like, oh, and I have that too.
It's such a blessing.
Such a blessing.
Such a blessing. So back to the inn, just to kind of recap what all happened there. We walked in and we had about a foot of mud, 2 feet of water-ish. I don't know, something like that in there. All the sheetrock had to get gutted for the bottom 3 feet. If sheetrock is all gone, this guy who just showed up at the Merc one day, him and his buddy for 3 days, gutted all the sheetrock out. They got all of the appliances, all the cabinets out of there. And then we had a dehumidifier, a company that basically found out about us that we needed dehumidifiers. We got dehumidifiers at the Merc and got everything just drying out, and we got everything everywhere is now just being, we got fans everywhere, and finally now that's in a state where it's cleaned out and drying. And then me and Ash and the boys, we tackled the garage. Oh my gosh, it was the most disgusting thing ever.
That thing was bad.
We have like an 8 parallel parked garage, like a long garage.
Yeah.
And
the previous owner used to actually have units in there, so it's big. They used to have units illegally inside the garage. And so it's a really big space. And, one beautiful thing that came out of that was, honestly, all of it is just like clarity on, we own 2 businesses, and the inn has been running for a few years. The Merc has been running for a year. And just like a fresh start of starting at kind of zero, it's like very humbling. And then also financially, just to see, where we've made mistakes along the way, where we've like spent too much, where we've laxed on certain things.
Paying attention to where money's been spent.
It was very, very clear and almost, I don't know, not therapeutic, but just like eye-opening to what has been going on. And so I'm thankful to just kind of have a clearer picture of everything behind the scenes, because we had to clear everything out and see everything. So I'm thankful for that, because now going forward, we can go a little bit smarter and wiser. And
I'm thankful for the bonding that it had with our family. Me and you and the boys worked all day. We took every single item out of that garage, and then me and the boys power washed it with a pressure washer and a broom. And I'm working next to Gabe, and it's so loud from the pressure washer because it's inside the garage with us, ventilated, I know. And he's next to me, and it's so loud that I can't talk. And I've been trying to teach the boys that, hey, there's certain aspects of when you work with me, I want you working hand in glove. I'm not going to talk. Watch me, pay attention, watch what I'm doing, watch how I'm working, and try and work alongside me. I'm just trying to like develop them as men, and to be able to have an opportunity where we're doing a very hard day's work and you can't talk. Just work next to me, watch what I need to do, and be able to see the amazing growth. And like, I'm yelling at Gabe. I'm like, yes, good job, buddy. Because he was right next to me and I'm power washing something, and all this water is coming rushing back. And he runs over with the broom, the squeegee, and like he's squeegeeing it out for me. And just to be able to look, again, awful circumstances, terrible stuff. People are dying. It's the worst. And I'm not trying to make light of that, but I always want to try and find every little piece of good through everything that we're going through. And it was an amazing opportunity, just one little bright spot in my day that day.
And for the boys to just see, I mean, they've done missions trips in like really difficult places before, but I think it hits, I mean, I know it hits different when it's in your own backyard, literally. And so for them to see everything, because we protected the girls from that, they have no idea. They had no idea what was going on. And besides like us telling them, for the boys to be a part of it was really amazing. I think for them to be a part of that and to work really, really hard and to see people hurting and to help them, to offer to neighbors. I mean, it was amazing. We live in an area where there's a lot of older people just all around us. People are retired here, there's snowbirds here, whatever. And so to have Dino and the boys to have some muscle to go around and just everywhere we went and be like, what do you need? Here, I got 3 right here.
Yeah.
You need to move a fridge? They can move a fridge. You need to
That's
move
what everybody needed too.
Yeah.
They just needed hands.
There was so many supplies, which was incredible. So many people donating supplies, but what people really needed was bodies. So to be able to just be around and just be bodies to help. And like we drive by and a lady's walking with her groceries and we're like, Gabe, go. And he's like, yep. And
Gabe's up and popping out and she's like, no, I'm fine. And Gabe grabs her groceries and she's walking. You can tell that she's walking from Publix, which is really far, and she's old. And Gabe jumps out and grabs her groceries and she's like, I'm fine. I'm like, absolutely not. My son's going to take your groceries. And he carries it and gets to the house and she's like, I don't know if I was going to make it. I was just trying to be strong. And Gabe got to carry her stuff. And like, he got to see what it means to just be the hands of, just show someone love and be like the hands of Christ for someone and take care of them. We're mentally in a spot where it's good. The Merc, I feel like we're in such a good spot and God's blessed us so much. Let's just take care of our neighbors. So the next day, me and the boys were like ready to go and I had to leave. I had to go take care of something. And you and the boys were walking up and down the street at the Mercantile. Yeah. And the Merc has been tumultuous. It's been a hard thing in general. And one of the hard aspects of it has been our neighbors. We've wanted to have a good relationship with our neighbors and our neighborhood, but it's just been rocky. And
some of them love us.
Yeah, some love us, and I get it. Like we've created a lot of change in the neighborhood, and that takes adjusting and things like that. But we've wanted to reconcile with everybody. We've wanted to just be loving with everyone. And that morning, you got an opportunity to walk up and down the street and just bless our neighbors.
Yeah, we just walked down with supplies and coffees and whatever. Every day we'd walk down and just see who we could talk to and just connect with and just show them like, listen, we're not your enemy. We are here. We are a part of this community and how can we help? So the boys would just like offer up the boys and they'd get to work in the neighbors' houses by the Mercantile. I think that's probably one of our biggest takeaways of the greatest blessing from this is that we were able to have an opportunity to connect with people that hated us and to just show them love, and their hearts softened so much, and it was so cool to see that. I just know God can take awful tragedy and just horrific stuff and he can do good out of it.
There's so much good.
So much good.
It just was a matter of God preparing our hearts to posture ourselves with this perspective of what good is going to be in this. Where's the good? Where's all the good that you're going to show? Because we know that it can be, God is constantly saying in his word, what Satan meant for evil, God used for good. Even in the life of Joseph and the awful things that had gone on with him, his whole life, at the end of it, that was his response to his brothers. Like, what you meant for evil, what was meant for evil in this scenario, God used it for good. God had a plan in it all. And I'm not saying that there's good obviously there's awful things that have happened and terrible stuff, but we've chosen to just have our minds and our eyes focused on where's the good, Father. Where's the good things that you want to show us through all of this? And to be able to hug my neighbor who I know hated me and say, my son will stay here with you and help you as long as you want. Like, and I'll be here anytime you need me. Please let us know. And anything that you have a problem with us, let's figure it out. Like, I want to be here for you. And I feel like we're set. We're in our neighborhood. We are part of our neighborhood now. Like, we're solidified. We're part of that community, and we've been there through the hard times with them.
I think that we can officially call ourselves Floridians now.
I would hope so.
I think so.
I would hope so at this point. You know, been through awful things together with our neighbors.
Just so much. So another thing that we just found out, I know we're going long on this, but there's just a lot of details, and I want to hit all of the things. So another thing is that the Anna Maria Island, where the inn is broken up into 3 different parts. So there's Bradenton Beach, Holmes Beach, that's where the inn is, it's in the middle, and then Anna Maria, and
which
that's
is
at
the north,
like Bean Point, the tip of it. So Holmes Beach definitely seems to be a little more stricter on some things, like weekly rentals. That's why we only are allowed to do weekly rentals. We are ripping out the walls. Everyone's just like getting to work as they know how to with all of their places, homes and rentals. And we start reading some things that they're putting out saying that everybody in Holmes Beach has to have a permit to do any of the work. Now they're giving the permits for free, but you have to go in and get it. And that obviously that means time because you have to wait for them to inspect and all this stuff. And then not only that, you have to have a licensed contractor to do it.
Even to do something as small as sheetrock, though?
Yes.
Oh.
Even just to put sheetrock in, you have to have a licensed contractor. I can understand thoughts on why this is a good thing.
Of course. There's obviously reasons why, and there's going to be bad people doing stupid things, and I get
Nobody
that.
wants the mold to sit in there. Like, we don't need that. Like, it's not good. But the harder, difficult side of that is that everybody's just lost everything. And for a lot of these people, this is their homes. People can't afford or find a licensed contractor right now. It's expensive and everyone's charging you up the beehole right now.
Yeah, just on context on that, I had someone that told us they would do some task for it. I'm not going to name names or anything like that. They said they would take care of us. I assumed everything was good to go, woke up the next morning, asked where the things were that they were going to supply for us. And they're like, oh no, I got a better offer. I know I quoted you this, but I'm going to use the things that I said that I was going to allow you guys to have for something else. I need it myself. And we were just like SOL because they decided that they were going to just take a better offer on it.
So imagine that times thousands. That's happening with everybody right now. And so nobody is able to even get a contractor, let alone afford it. So now they're sitting in their homes with rotting, molding furniture and walls, and it's just devastating. So the point of this story was that we went to go to the Holmes Beach office to go bring in, we had a friend that said he had his contractor's license.
Well, initially I tried to do it myself because I'm technically I'm the owner and the homeowner of the place, but they refused to allow me because I can't do the work myself on my own place. It has to be a licensed contractor, which just that alone is infuriating.
Not just so we thought it was a licensed contractor. So our buddy who is a licensed contractor fills out all the paperwork for us, is going to like help us out. We'll pay him to do it all. And Dino goes to bring it in the other day and they're like, no, you need a general contractor. So that's another level up, more expensive and harder to find. And so he calls me and he's like, how am we going to find a general contractor right now? And he's like, I got to go. Somebody's here right now. And
yeah, so I'm sitting in the city office just getting rejected and not sure about what the heck we're going to do and how we're going to navigate this. And again, we're not in a great financial position. Just to add some color to this, we can't afford to do a whole bunch of work. And on top of that, for many reasons I'm not going to get into, but the contents, we don't have insurance for the contents. The content, it was way more money from an insurance perspective and a low probability of us losing all the contents of the inn. So we don't have insurance for the contents. So we have to pay for all the contents to get replaced too, all the furniture. what the heck are we going to do? I have to do this work ourselves. I have to find a way to do this, or do it very inexpensively. I can't pay.
But they said if they find out you're doing the work yourselves, they're going to fine you $5,000
and shut you down and take your business license and potential jail time if they found out that I'm replacing sheetrock. So I'm sitting there just like at my wit's end and about to like, I don't know how to handle this. And I hear a familiar voice down the hallway. And I'm like, wait a minute, I know who this guy is. Well, 6 months ago when we were looking to build a house or buy that land and then eventually build a house on it, there was one of the contractors, a general that like a home builder in the area that we met with. His name is Jim. He's like, hey. So I'm like, hey, can I talk to you outside just for a second? And I walk him through the whole scenario. He's like, I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. And the guy's just a good human being. Right, I found out right now he's running around the island taking care of his projects, his home builds now, and his previous ones that have already been done. And he's just doing it at like less than cost to take care of these people so that they can get things taken care of. So he's running around just taking care of people. And he comes and he's like, hey, go to your house, go to the inn. I'll be there in an hour. He shows up at the inn, takes some photos. He's like, I'm going to take care of you. I'll file your permits. I'll handle all the work for you guys. I'm going to just take care of you. It's like
just another thing that God just like,
we're screwed. I'm screwed again. I don't know how to handle this. And I'm trying to do everything I can with everything that's thrown at me. And every single step of the way, God's like, I got you. I got you. I got you. It goes back to this mentality. We're sitting in bed last night and I'm just like, good. The hard things are good. They're there to grow you, to mold you, to shape you, to show God's providence in it. God will work through all of it. He will not abandon you. And I was telling Ash too, like, I kind of needed it. I kind of needed this to see God just be like, I got you through all this stuff. Because for me, I just felt alone.
Mm-hmm.
I felt alone. And I know in my heart that God would protect me. But when we're going through a lot of these hard things over and over and over, and uncertainty financially, how to financially handle things, to have God just be like, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Like there's going to be, you're going to go through even harder things. But at every single phase, there was so much good out of it. That just brought me to my knees of gratitude and thankfulness for the hard things, for the awful.
Yeah.
And it's counterintuitive, but that's what we've been commanded. That's how we're supposed to live our lives. That's what God wants from us, is to have this mentality of, I will depend on you through all of the hard things, and I will look and seek after the good, because the things that are hard and that I don't understand right now, you're doing something bigger and you're using it for good.
It's just so interesting, the season that we're in right now. And I was saying, it's like the first 8 years of our marriage was the blur. It was just this chaos of young children. We were getting to know each other. We hadn't really made any big moves. We weren't really seeking after God like fully, totally fully with everything, like surrendering things.
Yeah.
Then we got into this phase of like the next 4 years or 5 years or whatever, of just what felt like this blessing. And I think we were kind of talking about this. It was just like we were riding high on all these things, and he wanted us to build and grow and do all this stuff. The last year or two has felt like the battle. Like we have just been in a battlefield. I think all of them are beautiful, then they can be beautiful. And this battle, like he's prepped us. He had that blessing period so that we could store up, so we could grow in a different way, so that we could have the whereabouts with our minds to be able to conquer and have this time and like a rest also before the battle. Yeah, when we're seeking after him and we know who he is, he can get us through the battles. He prepares us and he shows us the good. He shows us who he is. All this stuff that we've seen these last 11 days, there's nothing that we could have gone through. Like you're not going to get this stuff sitting at home with all the luxury, all of the finances, with no issues, with all the health, with no problems at all. You only get this stuff in the refining process.
Yeah.
That is the only way that you grow and that you see him really, and you get to experience him. and you get to experience his goodness, like for reals, is when everything is so low that all you can see is him.
It requires your posture.
It does, because anybody could sit here and be like, I lost everything and I'm a victim, and you have to have the right mentality. And I think that's what all of our podcasts are honestly all about, is in this situation, you can think like this or you can think like this. This is why we talk about the discipline and the disciplining of your mind and your body, and the disciplining of setting aside time to seek after him and have quiet time in the morning, to posture ourselves so that we're seeking after him and not the things of this world, so that in the times of battle, which we will go through, the Bible says countless times that we will go through hard times, we get to then look up to him and we get to see him.
Amen. You can easily go through all these hard things and not level up because your posture was not postured correctly. And if anything, you can move in a downward trajectory. These times are meant to see which direction you're going to go. And you and I have been adamant about posturing ourselves towards the Lord, and God has been so gracious in equipping us and giving us more capacity for the hard, and it's because we've had our eyes on him through these harder things.
So gracious. And I just also want to make clear, like, we're not perfect. No. If you could have heard us some of the days, like yelling at the boys because they're not, like, Dino had that amazing moment with Gabe, and we had so many amazing moments like that, but there were also some moments too where we were super ugly and gross.
Oh, so bad. I went to bed many a night feeling awful.
I'm just like,
I'm like, I can't just yell
over
at them. I can't just like take it out on the boys. I can't. You and I are fighting about the dumbest stuff. There was 2 days where Ash and I just had hard times together, and it's understandable. Like,
the Red Witch was a part of the situation too. The ugly sister.
The Red Menace.
The Red Menace was a part of it too. So we have to give her some of the blame.
I wasn't going to say it, okay? I wasn't going to say it. I'll let you say it all you want, but I'm not going to say it.
All right. Well, we both know you weren't quite a peach either,
Oh,
but
no.
she definitely brought it out in you.
I'm the worst on the regular.
I just want you guys to know, though, that like we're talking about the heart posture and the mentality, and we do have that, but that doesn't mean that every moment is perfect, and that there aren't moments of just like, what is happening? What are we doing? Like, I'm so tired, and like you're human, you can only do so much too. And your body can only take so much too. So you have to be able to know. That's also just being wise. Know where your limits are at. Know when you need to pause and like reconnect. Know when you just need to just stop.
Yeah, please don't take any of the kinds of things we're saying as it being preachy. It's from the perspective, the passion that I'm saying, a lot of the things that I personally am saying is I'm talking to my other self, a version of me that hasn't gone through this. And I'm looking at myself and saying, hey, have the right mentality, because so much of the time I have not had the right mentality. Just deal with whatever's in front of you and don't think about what's God doing. So because of that, I've missed out on so much stuff, and I've not gained the experience that God wanted me to gain in that scenario. So I'm saying this to myself, I'm saying over and over, you need to be prioritizing the perspective of where's the good in this, Dino, because so often I don't, because I know the next time that something hard comes up, I'm going to be just like the Israelites in the desert, where they go and they see the amazing things that God just did, and 2 seconds later they forget and they go back to their stupid ways. And that's me. I am that way. I will immediately devolve right back to Dino, the idiot who doesn't have the right mindset and perspective. The only reason why I'm espousing it so heavily now is because I'm fresh at coming out of this season where God's grace was just overflowing on our lives and overflowing into my mindset of see the good. I can't even claim that it was Ash and I who had this mentality of look for the good. It was purely God's grace in our minds to say, hey, you need to be having this mindset of good. And he was constantly bringing that back into my mindset as we were working through all of this. There's no good even in me. It was just God's grace in the moment, the last 10 days. I don't even know how we've honestly accomplished the last 10 days. I don't. All right, let's scoot through the rest of the story here. So
The inn is sitting and waiting right now. It's drying out and we have no walls, obviously no furniture, no appliances. So right now it's sitting. We're waiting to clean out the pool. You can't clean out your pool immediately because if you drain it, it'll pop out of the ground because the water tables are so high. Definitely don't want that. So we're not in a rush to do that. We also found out, which is very unfortunate, 2 nights ago, that Holmes Beach, they put out an executive order that you cannot rent out your place for the next 45 days, and it could be longer. So that was pretty devastating also. I haven't even talked about that online yet.
It's hard because I get it. I get what they're trying to do. I'm not gonna just be like, oh, they're evil and they're just trying to get us. Like, I don't want to straw man them. I want to talk about it inside of reality, and that their intent is they've come out and said, hey, there's been bad people who are not giving refunds and not moving people's dates for their rentals. They're making people that have rented their places forfeit money and not be able to come and stay, and tell them you should have gotten insurance. So to combat that, they're saying we're shutting down all rentals for 45 days to make it so that those bad actors can't do that to people.
Yeah.
I get it.
Which has always, I mean, I'm not saying it's right, but when the last time we had a hurricane, that has always been the case. We have been one of the only properties that moves people for free.
Yeah, we move. Yeah.
Even if they stayed a few days and we got evacuated. So that's why they say, like, if you're coming during hurricane season, you should get hurricane insurance.
Get travel insurance.
Totally.
Yeah. And I get it. But let's just talk about the other side of this coin. This is going to hurt so many people so badly. To not have tourism running in our area for 45 days, it hurts. So I know that there's another side of the coin. Let's just talk about this side for a second. All of our employees will have no income.
So like I said, we have 2 units that did not get damaged. And I know a lot of people have, raised properties too that didn't get damaged. So they cannot use them at all for 45 days, even if there was no damage. That is kind of a harder thing. And then all of our employees, Dino's sister is the manager there, and she gets paid when we have a guest. So she gets paid a percentage, and so she will not have a job. Our cleaners won't have a job. Pool person, like Gavin, but imagine that for everybody. And then those people also go to our friends' restaurants that all of our community and all of our people there, they're working so hard right now to rebuild.
Smokehouse, they're our dear friends. They lost everything.
Everything.
That place is gone.
Everybody depends on people coming back. And it's just
like, what the heck are they even going to do? Nobody will see them for 45 days. They get punched so hard by this hurricane, have to recoup, figure out how they're going to put their business back together. And then once they get their business back together, they will have nobody buying anything from them for 45 days. For people that are already struggling, it'll just kill them. And it's sad because what it ultimately does is it makes it so that the big guys who can weather a storm like this, they just get bigger and stronger.
Yeah. And then most people will end up having to sell their properties. And so not to bring that up as a downer, but just as a reality of just like another coin or another side of the coin. But
I wanted to talk about it. We so infrequently talk negatively about anything, but when it's something that I just feel like is not, it bothers me. I want to talk about it because it's not us. I mean, we'll probably be fine. We can find a way through this, but it's the people that are right on the brink of being broken. This will break them.
I know. That's just something that we're just praying about too, and just know that God will, he'll work it out however, and he's equipped Dino and I to be able to think about ways that we could come up with something. I don't know. So there's bad things sometimes and things that you just feel like you have no control over. And with those things, it's just a leaning more into him and what can we do? And do I just surrender it and just watch you just do what you need to do? Or do I get to work and, use the gifts that you've given me and given Dino and, we do something. And so that's why it's important for us just to pause, seek after him, not get stressed out about it, but know that he's got us. He's got it in control. The worst thing that happens to us is we have to sell everything at a loss and, but and move into a trailer again. Well, been there, done that.
I
We can
like
do that
living in a
again.
trailer. Living simply sounds delightful.
Yes. So that's happening in the background. So the inn is resting right now. We're working on getting it back together. It's drying out. The mercantile I spent yesterday doing the final touches of scrubbing everything, cleaning everything. The bathrooms have been redone. We started to kind of set the store back up a little bit, but we're just kind of waiting for coffee parts and new appliances, iPads, all that stuff.
So brutal. We had all these amazing orders. Thank you so much for everybody who was supporting us. It literally saved us and our employees, but all of our employees are working.
We had no AC. It was 100 degrees inside with heaters blowing because of the dehumidifiers.
Yeah, the condenser fan or whatever was completely submerged in water. So we turned it back on and it ran and then caught on fire. And then the fire department had to come and put the fire out. But that just basically said that, well, we have no AC now for, it was like 4 or 5 days of them
and all
working.
these girls just came in and we had a little detox happening.
And the way it works is the dehumidifiers, they suck in the air, pull the moisture out, and they blow hot air out to try and, it's like a hairdryer basically, to try and like dry out the area. And they're sitting in this back room with like 8 of these dehumidifiers all around them, just blowing a hot, dry air.
It was cooler outside than it was inside. And it was funny, we would like, if you stopped, it was worse because then the sweat would just like pour out. It was like pouring out of the, tops of your arm. And then, so it actually was better to keep moving because the air from moving was like, I don't know, it was just crazy.
It's such a bizarre thing. I would go and get lunch for everybody and bring it back and be like, come on, everybody eat lunch. And they'd come outside and be like, oh, it's so nice. It's like, what kind of upside down world are we living in? They come outside to get some break from thank you, our staff. Thank you. So we're so thankful for you guys.
So thankful.
Yeah.
So we're out of state right now. That is sitting and waiting for us. And I will wrap this up by telling what's to come possibly. So we get home yesterday and we just are like, we got to get home. They finally took away we couldn't get to our house for a week. The bridge is closed to get here. There's only one way that they let in. If you saw online, we had a giant tree in the back. We lost our whole fence by the pool and just messy. Everything in our garage is ruined. So our
house almost caught on fire. We're very lucky.
We're very lucky. All the kids' bikes, the boys saved up money for their bikes this summer. They worked all summer, all year actually at the Merc, and they saved up to get electric bikes so they could ride them to school, ride them to the mercantile, ride them to work and stuff. And then our golf cart is also in there, and then all of our tools and things like that. Well, all of that got flooded out and ruined, and all of our electric things had lithium batteries in them, which mixed with salt creates basically a bomb. 3 of our things exploded inside the garage. Luckily, none of them caught on fire because all over the island, people's houses and garages have caught on fire because of these lithium batteries mixed with the salt water. So we came home last week, moved everything outside.
One of the batteries exploded towards the electrical panel in the garage. I have no idea how that didn't catch on fire. And then another one exploded and shot shrapnel. There's holes in the ceiling in the garage because metal had been shot up all over the place. How none of this caught on fire, I have no idea. And then the golf cart has the motors completely seized up, wouldn't go into neutral. So I wanted it out of the garage because that has a lithium battery in it too. So I took the Jeep and dragged it out of the garage.
We came home yesterday and cleaned up the rest of the stuff as much as we could. The boys took apart the fence, brought it out to the trash.
Tore out all the sheetrock in the garage.
And then my parents gave us the greatest gift of all time in life and took the kids for the night just so we could shower and just get in bed at 3:00 in the afternoon and not get up again. And that was incredible. And that brings us here to this moment and us sitting here talking this morning and talking about what's to come and talking about all the goodness that God has done in our lives. I have had such a plan, like, okay, so we're gonna this is what's happening at the mercantile this season. This is what's happening at the inn. This is what we're going to be doing for our kitchen and, this like plan. And I told him, I was like, I have zero plan. I have no plan. I have no idea what tomorrow is going to look like. I have no idea. There's so much ahead of us, so much work for me to do. and for us to do to rebuild, I have no plan. And it's kind of awesome just for it to be stripped away from the things that we think we need and the things that we think we know, and just be super humbled by, I have no plan. What's your plan, Lord?
Even the taking things away from us has been stripping away in a good way.
Yeah.
Look, again, I want to preface all this over and over with the awfulness of dealing with terrible things. I'm very keenly aware of all the awful, but there's so much good in it, and there's so much good in having things that you and I cling to, that we hold on to. We hold on to our money and our finances. We hold on to our stuff and our belongings. We hold on to our inventory. We hold on to these ideas and these plans that we're going to have for the future. And for God to come along and be like, I'm gonna take all of this from you for a minute,
but it's better,
and I'm gonna show you something different. A man plans his ways, but the Lord directs his paths. And I'm thankful that our ways have been planned and been removed, and the Lord is directing us. That's the way I want to live my life.
Same. Going into when you listen to this podcast, it'll be on Friday, so not sure what this week is going to look like. There is a storm coming our way this week, actually two. So one that's starting today is Saturday for us right now. So you guys will listen to this on Friday in a couple of days. There's a storm coming tomorrow night for 2 days. It's going to bring heavy rains in. And right now the grounds are so saturated and flooded. I'm not really sure what that's going to do. And then after that, on Wednesday, Thursday, there's supposed to be there's something in the Gulf right now brewing, and it looks like it's a tropical storm, could be a major hurricane. So mentally, we're trying to take this weekend to rest. Our bodies need to rest. We could tell we're like going to get sick. Like you can only do so much, but also just trying to wrap our heads around what is this week going to look like? Are we going to flood again inside? And so just kind of preparing for that. And it's not funny, but it is also just like we're in battle right now. We're in a war. We just got to keep seeking after him.
The mentality I feel like I've had is, what is the big thing that I can just handle today? And then I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
And right now, I feel like today and tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, we just need to stop. Sure, we can write some stuff down. If something's driving me nuts and I'm just swirling on it, I'll go write it on a piece of paper so that I can get it out of my mind. But I feel like you and I desperately need, God does want us to rest.
Well, yeah. And especially, like I said before, resting, especially if we're going to go back into something next week. Well, no matter what, even if something doesn't come, there's a lot to do and we have to rest. God rested. I mean, Jesus rested.
Yeah.
We need to rest. So we will. And we just want to say thank you to I've been MIA on DMs and stuff, but I have seen a couple of things come in, and just the encouragement and the love and the support is incredible. You guys don't have to do anything for us. You don't have to pray for us. You don't have to, support us online, but you do. And it really means a lot. I'm so thankful. Like, we are seeing God working through you guys too. Like, when I get messages too that are encouragement, you have no idea. And I try to respond to them too. And when I do, I can say like, this is such an encouragement. Thank you so much. But like, when I say that, it really is like, you are being obedient to God when you do things like that. When he's putting something on your heart and you think, should I even send this? I don't even know if this matters. And I'm not even just saying that to us, but man, when you are obedient, if God's putting stuff on your heart for anybody or to do anything to anyone, please be obedient to that, because you have no idea in that moment. You have no idea what that person is going through and how much they need that. And God knows, and he's putting that on your heart to be obedient, to move forward, to have an impact on somebody else's life. We appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for listening. And we're going to get through this.
Yeah. Let's do the next thing.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys.